Picture this. It's the summer of 1996. Movie theaters are packed. Aliens are invading Earth. The White House explodes in a fiery blast that looks so real, people in the audience actually gasped. Independence Day wasn't just another blockbuster. It became a cultural event. But behind the explosions, the cheesy one-liners, and Will Smith punching an alien in the face, things were chaotic, weird, and sometimes downright unbelievable. From UFO scares that fooled real people, to the Pentagon pulling its support over Area 51, to the fact that the movie almost had a completely different title, this is the untold story of Independence Day. Let's dive into 20 behind-the-scenes facts that prove the making of this movie was just as insane as the story on screen. Fact 1. The UFO helicopter panic. Before the movie even came out, the marketing team thought it'd be clever to test out a glowing helicopter with bright lights attached, to make it look like a UFO in the sky. Harmless stunt, right? Wrong. Over 150 Californians immediately reported seeing a UFO invasion. Police departments were flooded with calls. Some people even started panicking that aliens had actually arrived. Imagine working at a police station that night. Yes, ma'am. We're aware of the giant glowing spaceship hovering over Los Angeles. No, ma'am. Will Smith is not here to save us. That's how real the hype was. The line between fiction and reality was already blurred before cameras even rolled. Fact 2. Pentagon pulls out over Area 51. Originally, the Pentagon was totally on board with the movie. They offered access to real military bases, real jets, even uniforms for authenticity. But then they read the script. The problem? Area 51. The filmmakers wanted Area 51 to play a huge role. The Pentagon said, nope, if you keep that in, we're out. Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, the director and producer, refused to cut it. They wanted conspiracy theories baked right into the movie. So the military pulled out. No tanks, no bases, nothing. Ironically, that decision made the film feel more authentic. And now, you can't even think about Area 51 without picturing Bill Pullman giving a speech about humanity fighting for survival. Fact 3. Jeff Goldblum's improv chaos. Let's be honest, Jeff Goldblum stole half the movie with his quirky, stammering delivery. And here's the thing, most of that wasn't in the script. Goldblum improvised constantly. The nervous babbling, the quick one-liners, the chemistry with Will Smith and the alien ship, all Goldblum. The best part? Will Smith loved it. Instead of sticking to rigid lines, the two actors bounced off each other, making their final mission inside the alien mothership feel chaotic, hilarious, and authentic. It's not everyday improvisation saves the world. Fact 4. The president who almost wasn't. Bill Pullman as President Thomas Whitmore? Iconic. His "Today we celebrate our Independence Day" speech is still quoted every 4th of July. But here's the kicker. He wasn't the first choice. The studio originally wanted Kevin Spacey. Yep, Kevin Spacey. They thought Pullman wasn't a big enough name. But Emmerich pushed back, saying Pullman had the perfect mix of vulnerability and strength. Can you imagine Spacey delivering that Shakespearean-style speech? It would have been so different. Instead, Pullman gave us one of the most epic presidential moments in movie history. Fact 5. Banned in Lebanon. Here's a wild one. Independence Day was actually banned in Lebanon. Why? A tiny scene that showed an Israeli pilot fighting alongside other nations. It caused political protests, and the government said, nope, can't show this here. That means while the whole world was cheering humanity uniting against aliens, some people couldn't even watch the film because real-world divisions still got in the way. Talk about irony. Fact 6. The title battle. Believe it or not, Independence Day almost wasn't called Independence Day. The studio didn't have the rights to the title at first, so the backup name was Doomsday. Pretty generic, right? So the director added that big, emotional presidential speech, where Bill Pullman says, "Today we celebrate our Independence Day," just to force the studio's hand. After that, they had to buy the rights. Smart move, because Doomsday would not have aged well. Fact 7. Shakespeare in the White House. Speaking of that speech, did you know it was inspired by Shakespeare? Pullman's delivery was modeled after Henry V. The filmmakers wanted it to feel grand, theatrical, and timeless. So technically, Independence Day is half sci-fi blockbuster, half Shakespearean tragedy with aliens. Fact 8. Recycling movie sets. Big budget? Sure. But the crew still cut corners. Many of the interior shots, military corridors, briefing rooms, even offices were recycled sets from other Fox productions. That's why some eagle-eyed movie nerds notice backgrounds that look oddly familiar. They weren't wasting money where they didn't have to, saving their budget for the big explosions. And let's be real, that's what we came for. Fact 9. Racing against Mars attacks. At the exact same time Independence Day was in production, Tim Burton was making Mars Attacks. The two movies had eerily similar premises: Earth versus aliens, big ensemble casts, dark humor. So Emmerich and Devlin sprinted through their script and started filming as fast as possible, determined to release first. They succeeded, and Independence Day dominated. Mars Attacks still came out, but compared to Independence Day, it flopped. Timing really is everything. Fact 10. A trailer that terrified Spain. The Spanish trailer for Independence Day was edited like a real news broadcast. Anchors reporting UFOs, buildings crumbling, a serious tone like the world was actually ending. And guess what? People believed it. Panic broke out. Some thought it was an actual alien invasion announcement. Basically, they accidentally created War of the Worlds Part 2. Fact 11. Filming the speech on the 4th. Here's a goosebump detail. Bill Pullman's iconic speech, filmed on the actual 4th of July. The cast and crew were already emotional from the holiday, so when Pullman shouted that line, people behind the camera were literally tearing up. It wasn't acting, it was patriotic adrenaline caught on film. Fact 12. Blowing up the White House. For real. The White House explosion is still one of the most famous shots in film history. But here's the truth. It wasn't CGI. The crew built a giant 10-foot miniature of the White House, set it up with insane amounts of explosives, and blew it sky high. They only had one chance to get it right, and it worked so perfectly it became the money shot for the trailers. No wonder it still looks better than half the CGI we see today. Fact 13. Will Smith almost didn't get the role. Believe it or not, the studio wasn't convinced about Will Smith. At the time, he was mostly known for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They weren't sure audiences would buy him as an action hero. But Emmerich and Devlin fought for him, saying he had charisma and star power. They were right. Smith became a global superstar. Independence Day launched him from sitcom fame to Hollywood's top box office draw. Fact 14. Dogfights that changed CGI forever. The alien dogfights in the movie were groundbreaking. The visual effects team used custom-built software nicknamed Sparky to simulate massive, realistic aerial battles. Back then, rendering even a single CGI shot could take days. But with Sparky, they could pump out 2 shots a day lightning fast for the 1990s. That innovation paved the way for future blockbusters. Fact. Nearly rated R. Independence Day almost got slapped with an R rating. Why? Profanity. One character, played by Harvey Fierstein, originally had a big F-bomb meltdown. The studio panicked, knowing they needed a PG-13 rating to maximize ticket sales. So they cut it out. And just like that, the film became family-friendly enough for teenagers everywhere. Fact 16. Written in just 4 weeks. Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin banged out the script during a vacation in Mexico in just 4 weeks. They pitched it to Fox, and the studio greenlit it in less than 24 hours. That's insane. Most Hollywood movies spend years in development. Independence Day went from idea to production in record time. Fact 17. Morse code Easter egg. Ever notice the drum beat in the opening sequence? It's not random. It actually spells out the word die in Morse code. Creepy little touch. It's like the aliens were already sending humanity a message before the invasion even began. Fact 18. Will Smith's punch was improvised. That legendary scene where Will Smith punches an alien in the face, says "Welcome to Earth," and lights up a cigar? Totally improvised. It wasn't in the script at all. Smith just did it on the spot. The crew loved it so much, they kept it. Now it's one of the most replayed moments in sci-fi history. Fact 19. Brent Spiner disappears into his role. Star Trek fans know Brent Spiner as Data, the android. But in Independence Day, he was unrecognizable as the eccentric Dr. Okun. His wild hair, manic energy, and over-the-top delivery turned what could have been a forgettable side character into a fan favorite. Proof that good casting can elevate even the smallest role. Fact 20. Models over CGI. Unlike modern blockbusters drowning in CGI, Independence Day used over 150 miniatures for its destruction scenes. Skyscrapers, battleships, alien crafts, all hand-built models, rigged with explosives, and filmed in slow motion. That's why it looks so good, even today. It won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects, and honestly, it deserved it. Conclusion. So there you have it, 20 insane, hilarious, and jaw-dropping facts about Independence Day. From fake UFO scares to Shakespearean presidential speeches, from CGI breakthroughs to practical explosions, this movie was chaos behind the scenes. And yet, out of that chaos, came one of the most iconic blockbusters ever made. The next time you watch aliens blowing up the White House, just remember, the real story was just as wild as the one on screen. So, what fact shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories. Because as Independence Day taught us, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.